We're going to be looking at the review for the quiz. We had one region and we were asked to do 3 things with it. Very typical kind of AP looked here to a problem like this. So first thing we need to do is see what this region looks like. So I put this in, I hit graph, and here's the quadratic falling down and the linear graph right below. It says the y-axis is acting as our other border. So we're looking at this region right here. And so based off of that, we see that the top function is the f and the bottom function is the g. Okay, and we kind of, maybe it'll help us for a later part if we draw this out a little bit. We do need to know where they intersect, and so if I go to intersect real quick, it says that happens at x equal 8. So our integrals will be going from 0 to 8 for all 3 parts here. So what's the area of the region? The area of the region is just going to be the integral from 0 to 8 of top minus bottom. So for us, that'll be f minus g. All right, and so f is my first function here, so I'm going to quit out of this and go math 9 from 0 to 8, y1 minus y2. And we get 101.3 repeating. 101 1/3. So not too bad. A pretty easy start here. Now it says, what's the volume if we spin this region around the line y equal -10? So we're going to take this region, but now we're going to take this line y equal -10, and we're going to spin this region around it. So we again have to think about big radius here, and we have to think about little radius here. So our big radius would be the top function, the f function, plus 10 more, because you're going all the way down to this axis. So this total length here would be f, which is this part, and then plus 10 more. The little radius would be the g function, the smaller, the bottom function, plus 10 more to get you down to here. Okay. Now, if you're wondering, like, what happens if this axis is up here? Well, that's another thing we typically do. We just kind of took it out of this year's part. We'll show you that maybe next year if you're taking Calc BC, or certainly you'd have a professor. They'd also show you what happens if you spin around a vertical line instead of horizontal. But we try to keep it manageable, all things considered here. So if we want this volume, our volume is going to be the integral from 0 to 8 of pi times big radius squared dx. So that would give us everything if the whole thing was spun around, but we're not going to do the whole thing. We're going to take away pi times little radius squared dx. Okay, so that's kind of what we have going here. So let's go ahead and do that. Math 9 from 0 to 8. Pi times y1 plus 10 squared dx. That would give us, again, everything, minus math 9 from 0 to 8 pi times y2 plus 10 squared dx. Okay, hit enter, and we end up with 12,847.857. Okay, so not too bad there. Again, just have to identify what's my big radius, what's my little radius when I'm doing that washer method there. Okay, then the last one says it's now the base of a solid, and cross sections are in the shape of rectangles whose height is 3 times the length of the base. So again, if we come back to here, now we're not rotating anything. We're saying let's cut this and pull it apart, and if we do so, what we'll be seeing in that moment is a rectangle kind of coming off the paper at us. The height of that rectangle would be 3 times the length of this base here. All right, so if I use like a little representation of that, here's this rectangle, this is the base, that coordinates with this side right here, and that length is top minus bottom. For us, that would be f minus g. The height, we're told, is 3 times that. So the height would be 3 times f minus g. So the area of this rectangle would be 3 times f minus g times f minus g, or 3 times f minus g squared. give it a little depth with the dx, and now that's the volume of any one particular slice you take, and we're going to sum up all of those slices from 0 to 8, and that will be our volume then. Right? So if we do that here, we go math 9, 0 to 8, 3 times y1 minus y2 squared dx. Oop, get rid of that. And I end up with 4,684.8. All right. So hopefully this didn't feel too bad. The quiz is going to be almost exactly like this. And so if you have any questions, just let us know. But hopefully you got kind of the hang of this section that we skipped here. Just